Yes, guys, welcome back to the Premier League. It's game week 15. Thogdad, we've got some exciting matches.
I'm angry with you, Theo.
Why?
Because I've got a stinking cold. You took me to Aberdeen. It was -5. It felt like it was -5. But
I'm
you
sorry,
know what?
Dad.
I'm going to struggle through.
Look.
Another apology, Theo. It was for how bad we were last week. 4 points, 4 points.
Well, I called Bournemouth beating Tottenham, though. What's the first match?
Well, the first match is the giveaway because we're so angry about getting 4 points each. This programme, all you've got to do, DM me an address. 15th against 1st. It is Everton against Liverpool, possibly the last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. And I've got a Thogdad fact for you, Theo.
Oh my God, what a way to start it.
Or is that memory lane? I can't remember. This is the Premier League game with the most red cards, with 23 in all. But which way is it going to go? Because Everton was superb, weren't they, against Wolves?
Well, first of all, Dad, we have to mention this stadium has been used for 130 years. Incredible matches from the get-go, European nights. It's been a soul and a home for so many fans, something to look forward to on the weekend. It feels like a second home for any of those fans. And to call it their last ever derby is quite sad, isn't it?
Now, the last time the Merseyside derby happened at Goodison Park, Everton won it, Theo. So that 4-0 victory against Wolves is brilliant for them. Liverpool, another classic game against Newcastle. Salah, unplayable, unstoppable, 2 goals and 1 assist. But it was an error by Kelleher, wasn't it? Right at the death.
Yeah, the Geordies came back at the end. What's funny is Traff, I saw him recently. I can't tell you why or what for, but stay tuned on the channel. He told me to go to that game.
Yeah.
And that was the scoreline, 3-3. Insane. It ended Liverpool's win run. And now Everton will be confident. Which way do you see it going, Dan?
It's going to go to Liverpool. They are just too good this season.
No.
They are walking away with the league. Everton 1, Liverpool 2.
I don't know if I can predict a fairy tale story of a Goodison win, but I do want to give Everton something off the back of their incredible last result. And on derby day, anything can happen. I'm going to go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw. Nobody can deny that Slot will bring everything, but Everton will give 110, 115% in this game.
Brentford versus Newcastle United is 11th against 12th. This is the team with the best form in the Premier League against Newcastle, Theo. 19 points of Brentford's 20 points have come at home. But their record against Newcastle in the Premier League, 1 none, drawn 1 and lost 5. What's happening here?
Yeah, that's not good. It's quite worrying, isn't it? They've got 22 goals at home, though, in the last 7 matches, which is just insane. Thomas Frank will be buzzing to be back at the GTAC. But as you said, Newcastle have a weirdly incredible run coming to the stadium and getting results. And funnily enough, it's that man Harvey Barnes. He's got 3 of his 4 goals away from home this season. But the last time they came here, he scored the opener, which then went on to a 4-2 classic in favour of Newcastle United. So there could be some away-end scenes. Off the back of that 3-3 encounter with Liverpool, they will be buzzing to kick on and hopefully get a result. The Geordies have been iffy this season, hit and miss. But this feels like we're waiting for something big to brew. And how long can this Brentford home run go on for?
That man, Alexander Isak, a goal and an assist against Liverpool. He's the real deal, isn't he?
He's always a threat. He's always around. He's lurking in the box. He's between defenders. He's done it in between Saliba and Gabriel. He's scored against the best of the best. And I think this match, he'll have a few chances. Because when you're playing Brentford, both teams always score. On Brentford's side, let's give them some credit. We haven't really spoken about Damsgaard at home has contributed 5 goals in his last 4 home Premier League matches. Credit to him, and I think he'll be involved in 1, but I think Newcastle are scoring 2. They're going to come away here with 3 points. It's the first time I've predicted Brentford to lose at home this year.
Wow, I know what you're trying to do here. You're trying to be different to me and catch up the points. This is going to be Brentford 2, Newcastle 2. Aston Villa against Southampton is 8th against 20th, and that poor run of Aston Villa ended against Brentford. Ollie Watkins, goal and an assist there. He's another good player, isn't he?
Goal and assist, Morgan Rogers scored the opener, Matty Cash scored, and that was all within 45 minutes. Villa are back. Unai Emery's job is saved after that 8-match winless run. They were never going to sack him. Villa now need to kick on. They've got a must-win match 3 days later against RB Leipzig, but this is also must-win because you're playing Southampton at home. So, of course, Russell Martin will be begging Unai Emery, tinkers the team around, makes a lot of changes so they can focus on their must-win against Leipzig. But I'm not sure they will. I can see Villa going out here and still putting a very strong team out because they need the points. They need to get back to back-to-back winning games.
Yeah, they've won the last 3 against Southampton, and all 3 of those were a clean sheet. I cannot see Southampton scoring here.
No.
They were woeful against Chelsea. I mean, defensively, absolutely terrible.
And that's 5 points from 14 games, which is the second lowest Premier League in history, which is such a bad return. I'm only going to go one way. It depends who they play, of course, but Villa are going to win at home 2-0.
I nearly went that, but I'm actually going to go 3-0 to Villa. Crystal Palace against Manchester City is 17th against 4th. Two teams who won last week and kept clean sheets. But
yes.
Crystal Palace, their record against Man City, very, very poor of late. And also their home record. They've only won once at home this season.
It's mad that. I tell you what, look, Palace are back to home wins, but apparently it was a bit of a lacklustre performance, that 1-0 result against Ipswich. But they all count.
But who
it's
cares?
It's 3 points.
I watched that. They were the better team.
Were they the better team? Yeah.
1-0 Ipswich.
You watched Ipswich against Crystal Palace.
Do you know, I might have switched over at half-time, to be quite honest. But job done, Theo.
And it was Mateta with the goal.
Yeah.
And now Jean-Philippe needs to kick on and score again, like the records we saw of him last year for Palace. Glasner was very happy, and how can you not be when you take 3 points in the Premier League? It's so important. Let's talk about Man City, Dad.
Yeah.
Are they back?
I wouldn't quite say that yet, Theo. They beat Nottingham Forest at home. By the way, Jeremy Doku, in the next 2 or 3 years, is going to become one of the best players in the Premier League.
You always say this.
Mark my words,
You always say this,
Theo.
but will he get
Give
to a
him
level?
game time. Yes.
Is he the sort of guy that won't ever exceed expectations because he's very good naturally, but can he be more complete, like a Raheem Sterling in his prime level player?
I think he's the real deal, but time will tell, Theo. That is the point. But City, the last 5 away games in all competitions, lost them all.
Very interesting. Dad, look, all I could say is Rico Lewis will be licking his lips.
Yeah.
We saw him take one of the only shots in that Liverpool game last week. And he's actually scored in both matches he's played against Crystal Palace.
Yes.
So, 2-2. Can he do it again? I think he can. In fact, I'm going to back City to win. Very close. I think Palace will score as well. City to win 2-1 away. And 3 points, they'll be very happy with that.
Wow, Crystal Palace only scored 4 goals at home this season. I'm going to go for Palace 0, City 2. City are back. Manchester United against Nottingham Forest is 13th against 7th. Two teams who lost last week and failed to score, Theo. But Man United got a very, very good home record against Forest. Surely they win this.
Well, they put up a fight against Arsenal. They lost to 2 corner goals. In the end, they'll be fuming about that. But back at home, they're unbeaten in 7. They've scored 10 goals in 3 home matches, which is exactly what they need to make OT. A difficult place to go under Amorim. And Xerxes and Rashford are back on the score sheets. Are they going to continue that form at home to Forest?
Well, you should beat Forest at home. Forest started very strongly this season, but they've lost 3 out of the last 4 games. They're not going to go down, but they're going to end up mid-table. Now, that Man United team, Theo, honestly, how many really world-class players are there in that team, if any?
That's a good point, Thogdad. Look, Amorim believes in it.
Yeah.
He believes in the project. He's got the players in front of him. He needs to get the results. I can only see this game going one direction, and I think it's a Manchester United win. It's 2-0.
Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Fulham against Arsenal, 6th against 3rd. A fascinating London derby down at Craven Cottage. Now, what can you say about Fulham? They won this week. 2 more goals for Alex Iwobi, and they actually won this game last season.
Yeah, unbelievable. Look, it's such a hard game to call. It feels like it's Arsenal against Arsenal. Fulham have Alex Iwobi, Emil Smith-Rowe, Reece Nelson, Bernd Leno, the list goes on. They're all playing against Arsenal. They're going to be fired up. And they've actually been getting results. Brighton got smashed 3-1. Iwobi double. And by the way, his goals were excellently taken.
Yeah.
The final one, right in the corner, sending the fans wild. The passion between the club, the staff, the fans, the players, everyone is combined. When they're at Craven Cottage, they make it rocking. This will be a very tough result for Arsenal to come here and get 3 points.
Fulham have got a really good record in London derbies recently. The last 8, they've won 4, drawn 4, and only lost none, obviously. Arsenal, can they get 4 wins in a row in the Premier League?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think they'll come here and score, that's for sure, because both teams to score in this matchup has happened the last 7 at Craven Cottage, which is unbelievable. And then we look at Arsenal's back-to-back 5 goals scored in away games. They are flying right now, and against Manchester United, it was a typical Paella Pulis performance with 2 corner goals.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Thing about Arsenal, the last 18 games against Fulham, they've scored in every single one of them.
Yeah.
They're going to score here again. Fulham 1, Arsenal 2.
I don't think it will be that easy. Fulham 2, Arsenal 2. It's going to be a classic.
Leicester City against Brighton and Hove Albion is 16th against 5th. One team in a relegation scrap, the other one pushing for Europe. But Leicester City last week were dominant. What about El Carnoustie, Theo? A goal and assist. He is some player.
Yeah, the Moroccan finally unleashing his talents under the new manager, Van Nistelrooy. I feel like he's really turned a leaf at that club. But talking about El Canous, did you see he wore Jamie Vardy's socks? It brought the luck.
That is so funny.
He had JV9 on his socks.
Wow.
Unbelievable. They lent him to him and it worked. They got that massive win over West Ham and it was a bit of a smashing game. They looked like they could have kicked on and scored more. The problem is, well, they're back-to-back at King Power, but they're not playing West Ham every week. This time round it's Brighton, and Hazerla was banned from the touchline as they went out and lost to Fulham. Now he's back, he's going to want 3 points, he's going to want revenge. And Brighton have a good team, don't they, Dad?
They do, but going back to that Leicester-West Ham game, which I watched, Theo, it was 3-1 to Leicester, but West Ham could have scored 3 in injury time. They had more than 30 shots. According to the XG, they should have won 3-1, not Leicester, but again, who cares? Leicester got the 3 points, showed very good spirit, and defensively, they just put bodies on the line.
Yeah, and now they need to end a winless run of 4 against Brighton, which is a weird stat. Also, like this, Jamie Vardy has scored 11 of his last 14 against teams with the name Albion in, so he loves to score against teams with the name Albion. I think João Pedro will score late, and he's actually done that with second half goals of 12 of his last 14. So 2-1 Brighton is my prediction. Do you agree?
Well, I nearly went that, and I changed a lot of my scores at the last minute. Let's see how that goes, because I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Brighton
Are you hearing a lot of excuses, by the way, today?
Brighton have not won here for about 10 years.
Thogdad's lost the mental game already. Back my predictions you will see this week.
Ipswich Town against AFC. Bournemouth is 18th against 9th. It is a massive game for the Tractor Boys, and these two teams have never met in the Premier League. Now, talk about Ipswich first, Theo. Their home record, okay, they've drawn 4, but they haven't won all season on the home turf.
Unbelievable that. There's something about Ipswich recently, and it's not turned the right way.
Yeah.
The results aren't happening anymore. The last few games, they don't look the same. This is an opportunity. Bournemouth away from home are very different to when they're at home.
Yeah.
By the way, getting that win over Tottenham, which I predicted.
You did.
It's amazing that they've done it now. Tottenham, Arsenal, Man City all beaten at home. But when they travel, completely different story. So I have a feeling that this is an opportunity for Ipswich to turn things around.
It is an opportunity, Theo, but I've been watching both these teams on the telly box. Bournemouth are just a better team.
Fair.
That is true. Now, I know you've got home advantage at Ipswich, and a lot of these games are drawn, aren't they, between these two teams? I think it's 5 of the last 6. And Bournemouth have actually, their record at Portman Road in recent years, not in the Premier League, has been very, very poor. I think they've only won 1 of the last 11 games. So a lot of people would say this should be a draw. But because Bournemouth are playing better football than Ipswich, I'm going to go Ipswich 0, Bournemouth 1.
Well, I've heard the problem is not defensively, it's scoring goals for Ipswich.
That is.
And I have a feeling Liam Delap will end that and score in this match. 1-1 is the result. I'm backing the record of draws.
Wow.
I can't see which way it's going to go. The Cherries are favourites. I'm sitting on the fence.
Tottenham Hotspur against Chelsea is 10th against 2nd. It's one of the games of the weekend. Another tasty London derby. But Spurs' record against Chelsea, last 11 games, won 1, drawn 2, and lost 8. Chelsea should win this.
Yeah, it's going to be a classic. I don't know which way it's going to go because Ange Ball makes you never know the result. The last win they got was against Man City, but it's the only win they've got in 5 matches, and now they've been outplayed by Bournemouth and Fulham.
Yeah, I know.
It's just impossible to call. I think a lot of Spurs fans have had enough of the Aussie. I think it could be the game that decides his career. Because if he does get battered by Chelsea, I think he's gone.
That is a very massive statement there. But Chelsea this season have been absolutely brilliant. 31 goals.
Yeah.
5 of them came last week against Southampton.
Yeah, what's amazing is they've got such squad depth and everybody is performing. Last game you saw João Felix come in and Kunku scored against Heidenheim and in the Premier League now. Then Sancho came off the bench, got a goal. Cole Palmer's back to scoring ways. The whole team is looking good, and it's thanks to Enzo Maresca. The guys worked it out. Poch set the bedrock. Enzo made it work. Chelsea are back in a title race. They must take every game as it comes. They just have to keep winning. And Spurs away, look, they did it last year. They won 4-1 here. That was Poch's best result of his whole time at the Blues. And on top of that, Thogdad, they've come here to White Hart Lane 5 times and won 4 of them. Tottenham, Chelsea. What? That's a mad result. Spurs 0, Chelsea 3. They're going to batter them here. I can only see this going one way.
That is a massive statement. I'm thinking of reaching for the Jeremy Beadle here, but you know what? Chelsea will win, but closely 2-1. West Ham United against Wolverhampton Wanderers is 14th against 19th. Two teams who were well beaten last week. And I said earlier, Theo, West Ham, 31 shots last week. Only one of them went in.
Yeah.
2 gaffers under threat.
Yeah, one of them in talks with Graham Potter. That is the home team. So Julian might be gone either way. Even if West Ham beat Wolves at home, he might be sacked. It's 1 win in 5 games now, -5 goal difference in the last 2. Not good enough to lose to Leicester as well. That's a very winnable match. But in the last seconds of that game, Fulkrug came on and scored a header.
Yeah.
He's back fit now. Could the German target man be the difference in a match that they just absolutely have to win? Wolves at home this year is the easiest matchup, full stop. And you're playing Gary O'Neill, who's conceded 8 goals in 180 minutes of football. Wolves fans know how embarrassing that is. They are not putting up any fight. They went to Everton. The fans who spent good money on the weekend to get up to Liverpool just to watch their team, they got embarrassed.
They did, Theo. 36 goals they have conceded this season already. Craig Dawson, though, he's scoring goals, isn't he? He scored 2 last week.
First time this season.
Shame he was in the wrong net.
Yeah, 2 own goals
I know.
in 1 Premier League game. When was the last time that happened? Let me know in the comments below.
And West Ham will score 3 goals plus because Wolves at the moment are absolutely hopeless at the back. It's going to be 3-1 to West Ham.
It's going to go one way or the other. In 11 head-to-heads, there's not been 1 draw. Not 1.
Ooh, wow.
It's been a win either way, and it's usually gone to the home team.
Yeah.
4-2. My
Wow.
highest prediction this week. El Sakiko is going to end with Gary O'Neill waving bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Make sure to enter the giveaway when this video gets 100k views. We will be sending that. Thogdad, you should sign this and send it off.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you'll sign it as
make
well.
sure you enter. All you have to do is give Thogdad your address. Simple as that. Thank you for watching. See you in a bit.